Hey everyone, I'm Elizabeth Sherman from Total Health by Elizabeth. And what I do is I'm a health coach. I help folks ease into better health through creating habit change. And habits is actually what I want to talk about today. Habits are actually really appealing to me because I just find that they're so easy to lean back on. So like when we have trouble like deciding what to do, when we're using our brain really doesn't like to think a lot. And so what happens is a habit starts to take over. So I'm sure that you found, on more than one occasion that, you're at home and you just got home from work and you don't even really remember the drive home. And that's because you just did it automatically. You've done it so many times that it's windy here today. You've done it so many times that it's just automatic. And so we can actually use the power of those habits for your health as well. And so there are three parts to a habit. There's the routine, there's the actual cue or the habit itself, and then there's the reward. And so the routine is everything that leads up to what it is that you're doing. And then there's the whatever it is that you want to do, and then there's the reward. And the reward is generally some sort of dopamine hit or something like that. So a very basic example of that might be for those of you who emotional eat. I used to do the same thing. So you would get worked up about something and then just automatically reach for food. And you weren't even thinking about it. It was just something that automatically started happening. And then once you ate it, then your brain would feel good. Now, much later, you may have not have felt good about it. But for those immediate moments during and after the eating, it was a positive thing for your brain. It was just something that felt good. So that's what a habit is. You have your routine, the steps that actually precede what happens, what it is that you're doing, and then the following the reward, because we do everything for a reason. And sometimes things that we start to do don't necessarily serve us later on. But know that if there's something that you're trying to change, then that at some point there was a reason why you did that. There was somehow it served whatever you were trying to accomplish on some level. So let's talk about changing habits. So if there's a habit that you want to get rid of, or if there's a habit that you want to start doing, there's a period of time called a clean break. And what happens is that this is a time that's just prime for you to start new habits. Now, a lot of times people will think that starting a new habit in January is a really great idea. The calendar changes and, the new year is all really exciting and wrought with, potential. But January is actually usually a really bad time to start a change. And the reason is that from December until January, not a lot changes in your life. And so there are these times when it's called a clean break, and your schedule is automatically disrupted. So like a move, a marriage, a job change, those are all examples of times in your life that you might want to start thinking about creating a new habit. And right now, I kind of think that the beginning of the new school season is actually a really good time to start those habits. At the end of the summer, or I'm sorry, at the beginning of the summer and then at the end of the summer, because your routine automatically changes. And so when your routine changes, it's actually really easy to start adopting or getting rid of other habits because it doesn't seem as disruptive. It's not like you've been doing the same thing for 3 months and then all of a sudden you want to start doing something new, and so it feels kind of awkward. So I always feel like September, especially if you have kids in school or something's changing, that it's a really good time to either begin or drop habits that you don't want to get rid of. So let's talk a little bit about, ooh, I lost my place. Let's talk a little bit about how you want to do that. So first, let's talk about breaking an old habit. An old habit is something, so it's really difficult to just stop doing something. So an example. So let's say that every night after dinner you sit down on the couch and you start watching TV and then you start eating. Okay, so it's really difficult to say, okay, I'm just not going to eat anymore, because you've already set up that routine. You've already established the steps that lead up to you wanting that food. And so the more we do that, that routine, the more it's implemented in our brain that we're going to get that reward, whatever it is that you're eating, and go ahead and follow through with it. So if you just stop, it's going to be really, really difficult to get through that period of craving. It can be done, but what is helpful is actually if you replace that habit with something different. So on the first night, what you might do instead is say, okay, so I'm not going to eat chips, or I'm not going to eat candy or ice cream or whatever, but I'm going to change what I'm eating from the chips to maybe some fruit, or I'm going to chew gum, or I'm going to, knit, or do something that is different, but it's also keeping you occupied. Does that make sense? So again, the first key to breaking an old habit is to replace it with something else versus just stop doing it altogether. That's actually really difficult on your brain. The other thing is that you can disrupt the cycle. So, as I laid it all out, after dinner, you sit down on the couch, you watch TV, and you eat. Well, maybe instead of sitting down on the couch and watching TV, you do something different. So you go for a walk, or, you go for a swim, or you just do something different after dinner so that you're disrupting that cycle so that you don't go for the craving of the chips. Okay, so those are just examples of what you want to do if you want to get rid of an old habit. So again, you can't just stop doing it. You need to either replace it with something different or disrupt that habit cycle. Now, what if you want to create a new habit? If you want to create a new habit, then what you want to do is you want to decide what it is you're going to do and then peg it to an existing habit. So, for example, if you want to start exercising, what you might want to do is either peg exercising, so put it next to either going to work or coming home from work. So it's not going to work if you decide, okay, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to come home, I'm going to change, and then I'm going to go out again, because that's just, there are too many steps in there that are going to prevent you from actually going ahead and doing that. What would be more helpful is if you brought your gym clothes with you to work, you went directly to the gym and then changed and at the gym, exercised, and then came home. So what you're doing here is you are pegging exercise with coming home from work, so your commute. So those are just some examples of how to create a new habit when you want to do that. So again, September is an amazing time of year in order to start something new because your schedule is going to change. So this is a fantastic time to either create a new habit or get rid of an existing habit. So again, I am Elizabeth Sherman. I am a habit-based health coach. I work with folks on, eating and movement and stress management, sleep management, and smoking cessation. And I hope you have an amazing day. I am doing 30 days of Facebook Live video. I have a few days left, and I hope if you have any questions for me that you will put them in the comments or you will send me a message. I'll talk to you later. Bye.